This is Ian Hamilton, Field Technical Manager for the West. I'm over here in Herefordshire looking at the ADAS run winter wheat variety fungicide interaction demonstrations. As you can probably see from the state of the crop here, it hasn't been very dry, surprisingly, and indeed if you look down here at the soil you can see there are still large cracks here. So despite the fact that we're in the west, the amount of rainfall here has been much lower than average. So looking at these variety plots, we've got three varieties: Graham, Skyfall and Gravity, representing different levels of septoria resistance. You can see at the bottom here, unfortunately the Graham plots have suffered more from the drought and a lack of an early fertiliser application. But if we have a look in the plots here, what you can see firstly is the untreated. A lot of senescence, yellowing going off here, mostly due to lack of moisture. We have got a little bit of septoria and indeed some brown rust here on the untreated. Adjacent to that, again, crop still showing a lot of stress, unfortunately, but where we do have green leaf, it's much cleaner. The septoria has been kept at bay, and of course the brown rust has been very well controlled. The flag leaf sprays were applied on the 16th of May and in fact nothing else has been applied since. Adjacent to the Graham we have the Skyfall. The biggest impact here we've had this season has actually been yellow rust. This is the untreated plot to my left and the treatment to the right, and you can see we've got very little green leaf area. When you look in here, most of this is down to yellow rust, not septoria. You can see down here very little green leaf area left. There is some septoria, but a lot of this dead tissue is due to yellow rust having been a problem. Over to my right here, if we look in here, this treatment has had the standard, which included Alatus era on the flag leaf over the top of a triazole fulpet at T1, and you can see we've got much more green leaf right the way down. We've done a very good job at controlling the yellow rust and indeed the septoria which was there. The third treatment here had a different alternative triazole SDHI based treatment at T2, and whilst it has done a reasonable job at improving green leaf, you can still see there is traces of where yellow rust has been, so it hasn't given as good a control of yellow rust compared to the Alatus era in the adjacent plot. So we're clearly going to have a yield response significantly on the Skyfall, and we may well pick up treatment differences as well. Just quickly looking at this final treatment in the Skyfall, we applied the Alatus era at T1 with an alternative triazole SDHI combination at T2, and what you can see is we've actually prevented the yellow rust getting established and have much more green leaf area compared to where we used the alternative SDHI at T2 with no Alatus at T1. So this just goes to show that keeping on top of yellow rust early is critically important. The third variety on site was RGT Gravity, chosen for its relatively low septoria rating, though in fact, as we discussed earlier in the season, this variety also had yellow rust coming in early, though it didn't develop as badly as on the Skyfall. That said, if we look here at the untreated, you can see where the rust has been. We have also had septoria in here as well. Following the rains earlier on in the month, it splashed up the plant. So we've got quite a high level of disease also in the Gravity, a mix of septoria and some yellow rust. The adjacent plot has had our standard treatment, which included Alatus era plus multi-site fulpet at T2, and again you can see that we've done a very good job of retaining green leaf and keeping both septoria and the yellow rust at bay. The treatment here has had the alternative SDHI triazole combination at T2 with lower yellow rust pressure, you can see it's kept green leaf area also. So the difference between the T2 treatments is not as great on the gravity here as it was on the Skyfall. Well, these plots will be taken to yield and we'll see if there is a difference depending on the program. So just looking back over the Skyfall from the other side, again we've got the untreated to my left, which is pretty dead here, and then adjacent to that we have the treatment which had Alatus era at T2, much more green leaf, done a very good job as we saw earlier, and then adjacent to that the alternative SDHI, which has again left a little bit of yellow rust coming through, as you can see, particularly on leaf 2. So that's all for now. Hopefully the site will hold on for another couple of weeks and we'll be able to get another update before harvest.